Welcome to my latest tangent. I thought I'd bring you along with me so you could see what I've been doing these past couple of weeks. I wanted to turn this frame drum that I've had for about 7 years into something I could use as a Bodhran. And I have a need for some rhythm in my songs, but there's this terrible logo at the top that I can't seem to get rid of. And that's what the struggle has been here for a couple of weeks. If you look at it, it's got the stain along the outside rim that's darker than the center. And there's a reason for that. And there's a way that I did it that I can show you later. It is a 16-inch diameter frame drum. This shows you what color it used to be. It's shiny because it's synthetic. There's my little thumb groove. But you can see it's textured to look like real skin, but it's not. And this is what it looked like when it was brand new. I didn't like that. I didn't like the stark white, so I stained it. And I'll explain to you how I did that later on. But there's the logo. It's really large, I think, and it shows up quite a bit against that stark white background. There's a smaller bit of print there and a larger bit of print. But then also, to get into the name here, it says Bodhran with an emphasis on the first syllable. Bow sounds like the front of a ship or what you do after a performance. Okay, rhymes with cow. And then Ron. Bodhran. Now I've got the word right, and we're going to jump into the Remo fiber skin. What does it say about that? It is consisting of a single ply of 10 milliliter mylar film laminated to a 3 milliliter polyspun fiber layer, which means we have to be very careful about that 3 milliliter polyspun fiber layer. We don't want to wreck it. It would make sense that you would not want to do something like sand it or damage it in any way. I wanted to look into some of the characteristics of it. Would I want to remove it somehow with heat? It is good up to 400 degrees, but I don't think that's what I want to do with it, is anything heat treated. It talks about acetone being the number one way of dealing with it, and blotting rather than rubbing so that you don't damage the top of the drum in any way. Yeah, scrubbing with steel wool or sandpaper risks altering the head's tone and appearance, which I've done. Mine is definitely damaged a little bit from what I did to it to try to get that logo off. But I cannot be the only person that's done this. All right. So, and I'm not. If you look down here, there's a Reddit entry on it, of course. And moving on, here we are. You can see that I was successful in getting certain parts of the logo removed. That lower line of print is completely gone. That upper line of print is somewhat gone, and the two sides of the crown are also gone. The reason why is because it talks about testing it out in a small spot first. So let's do a little reenactment, right? I put a little bit of goof off on that small line, and with working it with the stick and then blotting it off, it did come up. It came completely up. And I did the same thing with that one side of the crown, worked it, dabbed it, it came up. Did the other side of the crown with goof off, and then I took the stick and I worked it, and then I dabbed it. But then I thought I was being smart, and I put the goof off all around it then, and thought if I leave it soak in the goof off, that it will come up easier. Well, it didn't. What happened is that the goof off caused the ink to be driven farther into those fibers. And now that ink is farther down, harder to get, and now it's more permanent than it was before I even began the project. So those parts are on there, and they're on there to stay. And the more I rub, the more I damage the surface, which is too bad. So that left me with another possible solution. When I got this drum 7 years ago, I had some Winsor Newton oil paints, and I had some ochre, and I thought that the ochre would look pretty good on it, and I rubbed some ochre oil paint into it, and it looked really nice. It had a nice warm glow to it. While seeking to get rid of that logo, or at least not make it so stark, I grabbed some stain, some oil-based stain that I had down in the basement, and this is a mahogany color. And I grabbed a cloth just like this, and I took the lid off, and I dabbed it into the can, and I did this circular motion, and I rubbed it into those fibers. And then I would have to also sort of do some dabbing and lifting until I got the effect that I wanted, this nice, cloud-like kind of organic look to it. And it is oil paint, okay? So it took a while to dry. It was fairly dry in 2 days, and now it's been 4 days out, and it's completely dry. I can rub my fingers on it. It's not tacky at all. And that logo looks a little bit better. Now here we go. Here's a favorite guy of mine when I need to do some research. This is John Kennedy, and he is a really good Irish musician. I wanted to look into his Bodhran lessons, and he's a funny guy. Here he's showing how he uses these quarters that he puts in between the frame and the head to tune his Bodhran, because he doesn't have a tunable Bodhran. But what I really like is, this is what he calls a Cooper drum he's had for 40 years, he said. But look at the stain on that drum head. It looks a lot like what I've done to mine. And I'm surprised because it has a rather shallow frame, and it has a rather wide drum head. That looks at least 16 inches, if not more. So yeah, Kennedy's Kitchen is the name of his band. They're fun to watch. I've never seen them live, but it would be fun to do that someday. Then I jumped into another YouTuber, and this guy with the beard here, he's doing, right there, some history. There's another shallow frame. It seems the farther back that you go, the drums have wider heads and shallower frames. And this one's got a cross on the back, but not all of them have that crossbar. Now these modern Bodhrans seem to have a smaller diameter, deeper frame. They're taped. The heads are taped along the edges, and they often have some kind of crossbar. Yeah, so here we go. Here's another one. No crossbar, which is pretty much what I've got going on with mine. And yeah, just showing some more examples makes me feel better about what I've got, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. And here he is, Ruairi Glasheen. This is his YouTube channel, and he's got lots of playlists, lots of history, goes around the world, and right there's his playlist of lessons. I highly recommend him. And then this gal, look what she's using for a tipper. The more I looked, the more I found these tippers that look like this one that you see in the upper left. They're not solid wood like these. And here's this gal. Her name is Micky, and she is very good at playing the Bodhran, and she teaches classes, and she also has these workshops in how to make these tippers, and they're made out of wooden skewers, and she explains this very well. And so I decided to do it myself. And here are some of the ones that I've made. This has the slider that I'm using here as a hairband. It changes the tone as you slide that up and down. And then this one is taped on both ends, and you can see it's a little bit shorter than the other one and a little bit thicker. That one is the same length, but it's taped on both ends and is thinner than the other one. Yeah. So that's what I made, and I want to do a demo, but the cats are making noise. They're playing in the bag. Well, wait. All right. So here are the sticks that I've made. I'm not a professional, so don't hold me to any standards. All right, and the next one, the open one. And the open end. Slide it down a little and see if it sounds any different. Wow. Anyway, I'm a beginner. They're very functional. They work pretty well. I like the results, actually. And here I found some hockey tape, and I thought, you know what? Let's just try this out and see if it works. You gotta be forewarned that the hockey tape is gonna come in all sorts of really bright, very non-Renaissance festival colors. So I defaulted to this one with the flame pattern, which turned out to be not too bad. And then the end result, there you go. Pretty good. Not sure what to use instead of a hairband, but that's what I've got. So there it is. This is where I'm at with my journey with the Bodhran, and I'm hoping that I can learn how to play it well enough to include some tracks of me playing with it as I strum on my auto harp and play my recorders. Thanks for coming along, and I'll see you next time.